Another midweek deadline. We've got to start moving fast. We've got injuries, we've got players coming into form, players coming out of form. We don't have long to decide, but let's get into my Game Week 22 first thoughts. So let's start off by having a look at my Game Week 21 team and actually how I decided up. So with the injury of Harry Kane, I actually decided to make no transfers. My plan was to bring Harry Kane in and captain him against Brighton in Game Week 21, but I actually decided that this was not the plan that I wanted with him being injured, and there wasn't someone who had a good fixture this week that I then wanted to bring in as his replacement that would be involved in a -4, as I had to replace Robertson as well in order to afford him. So I actually decided to roll my free transfer this game week. So this meant that my team lined up as it is on screen now. So captaincy remained on Son. It was potentially going to be on Kane if he came into my team against Brighton, but Son was the next best thing for me. I know there was a lot of captaincy talk about going on Gundogan, maybe Cancelo, going on Salah or others, but there wasn't really a good standout captaincy option for me, so I went with Son. The thinking behind this was he's potentially going to be playing up front for Tottenham now. I don't think Mourinho trusts Vinicius Jr. to play him there. I think he'd rather bring Lamela or Bale into the side and then push Son up front, and then there is a chance that Son's now on penalties as well. It's the last fixture of the game, so I've got that sort of hope pick at the end of the game week, but Son was my captain, and vice captain remains on João Cancelo. I think he's a great pick, probably a clean sheet for him there, as well as an attacking threat as well, like we saw in Game Week 20, so happy with him. The players that I'm not particularly happy with are Bamford, Leicester away. I didn't really want to start Mitchell with Wolves at home. I think Wolves will score in that, so Bamford kept his place, although I'm not particularly keen on it. The only thing that made me keep Bamford and not maybe sell him for Antonio was the injury to Ndidi, so I actually think that that is going to hinder Leicester a little bit from a defensive point of view, so I thought there could be some luck for Leeds there, although they've looked much worse attacking wise in recent game weeks. And then Saka, he's been great, but it's not the best fixture, but you've got to ride those, especially with players like Saka. He's on such good form. He's only blanked once in the last 6 game weeks, and in that game week Arsenal failed to score, so when he doesn't perform, Arsenal doesn't perform. So yeah, very happy with Saka. I know it's Manchester United, but very happy with him, and happy with the team is setting up. I'll take 2 free transfers into the next game week, and we will see where we go from there. So in terms of my cup opponents, so I am still in the FPL Cup. This is how my opponents lined up. So he's actually brought Calvert-Lewin in this week. He's put the armband on Cancelo. So actually looking at it, he has 3 clean sheets for Manchester City, whereas I only have 1. So I will be hoping for a Sheffield United goal in that match, although I think it's very, very unlikely. He's got Neto in there. He's got no Salah, so I fingers crossed that Salah and Captain Son is a big differential for me. No Spurs players in his team either, and he has decided to bench Bamford. A good team, probably my hardest match yet, but fingers crossed that it's going to go well, and I can progress into the next round of FPL Cup. So that's sort of Game Week 21 and how it's lined up, but let's have that first look into Game Week 22. So here are my first thoughts of Game Week 22. As always with these videos, I'm recording pretty much as soon as the game updates. I do all my graphics and everything, and as soon as the game updates, I put the final touching bits in, like my cup opponent, and then I can start on my first thought. So no match is kicked off yet. So we'll start with my potential transfers in. So the players that I'm looking, I think that look really good, that I'm definitely in my plans to buy. So the first one is Antonio. He's looked really good for West Ham. He could have had much more than just the assist he got in Game Week 20. The reason I didn't buy him is that Liverpool fixture. I know Liverpool haven't been as good defensively recently, but it is still a slightly harder fixture, so I decided to just roll with Bamford. But yeah, definitely looking at Antonio, he looks really good, and if he can stay fit, he'll be a really good buy and so underpriced. The next one still remains Harry Kane. He is only likely to be out for a couple, maybe 3 game weeks, so he is still going to stay on this potential transfer in on my watch list here. I will want him back. He will have a good double game week in Game Week 26, so I will want Harry Kane in my team ahead of that, probably to put the captaincy armband on. It will just depend on when he comes back, but I pretty much have enough money in the bank to do Brewster up to Harry Kane, so as soon as he's back fit, he will be coming into my team. The next one stays on is James Justin, so this is a sort of defensive pick, a lot of ownership on him. He's so good. I think he'll continue to play even though Pereira's back. They've got a few good upcoming fixtures in the next couple of game weeks, and he's also very attacking. There is a potential for a nice double game week for Leicester as well in game week 26. Another player that I'm looking to target for that fixture. But yeah, James Justin, I think we all know how good he's been FPL wise so far this season. And the final one, I didn't triple up with my Man City. I didn't get my double City defence this week. I just decided to roll it because I did like Robertson. I didn't need the downgraded money from Robertson to Stones this week, so I decided to just keep Robertson. I could have done Mitchell upgrade or Kufal upgrade, but I decided to just roll it. So Stones is going to come in for me either this week or next week, but he will be in my team at some point over the coming game weeks, absolutely no doubt about that. With the upcoming double game weeks in potentially game week 24, game week 26 and 27 for Man City, having triple Man City, probably 2 defenders and 1 attacker is pretty much essential. I would really advise going down that route. Now, in terms of the players that I would potentially transfer out, so we've got Bamford in there. His form's not good enough, so Bamford to Antonio is definitely something I'm looking at, especially if Kane isn't back fit. That's probably a transfer I'll make this week. Brewster upgrade to Harry Kane, so having done De Bruyne down to Gundogan, I've got so much money left in the bank, so a big upgrade there. But as I've said, going into game week 26 when I plan on bench boosting, I won't want a player like Brewster on my bench. I'll need a full starting 15 to play in my bench boost. And then the 2 defenders, Justin and Stones, probably to make way for Robertson and Chilwell in the future. Chilwell has looked okay. If he continues to keep his place, I might keep him at left wing back. But Robertson is definitely one that I plan on taking the money out of at some point. He just has West Ham and Brighton in game weeks 21 and 22, so I'll probably keep him for those 2 and then look to ship him out in the game weeks after that. But yeah, the 4 players that I'm currently thinking of buying are Antonio, Harry Kane, James Justin, John Stones, and the players that would probably make way for them, Bamford, Brewster, Robertson and Chilwell. So yeah, they're my first transfer thoughts ahead of game week 22. So just going onto my team page now on the fantasy website, as you can see, up to 27k overall rank after last game week, which was really nice. So haven't touched my team, haven't moved my captaincy, so this is how I would look if I made no free transfers and didn't move anything. In terms of captaincy and everything like that, at the moment I'm currently thinking Salah. It could be Fernandes as well that I put the captaincy armband on. The vice captaincy is probably always going to remain on Cancelo at the moment. I think he's a great pick for my vice captain. I don't know whether I've got it in me to actually put the captaincy armband on him, but at the moment this is my team. Fernandes captain, Cancelo captain's still to be decided. It probably will need a bit more of a further look, a little bit look in the form and everything like that, but yeah, that's how I'm lining up at the moment. But I do have 2 free transfers. I didn't make any going into Game Week 21, as I said, so let's have a look at what I will do with those 2 free transfers. So moving on to the transfer page to start playing around with a little bit of those players I think I will bring in and those that I think I'll probably sell. So I've got 2 free transfers, as you can see at the top of the screen, and I've got 6.2 million in the bank. So a lot of money to spare and the 2 free transfers to play with. So at the moment I'm currently saving that money to do Brewster up to Harry Kane. I know it's a transfer I've banged on about, but just that game week 26 is likely to be Burnley and then probably Southampton both at home, or Burnley and Fulham as well, because they've got that match to be rescheduled, as well as West Brom at home in game week 23. With these fixtures, it's definitely something I want to target, and Kane's been on such good form. He's top of the assist chart and second on the goals chart this season, so only 1 goal away from being top of both goals and assists, so I think he's absolutely great value. He continues to return. It's not been maybe as much recently, although 3 returns in 3 in a row before those 3 blanks of 2s, but he's been in great form. I think he's definitely a player that I will want for that run of fixtures. So I kind of have to bear in mind that I'm actually 0.5 short. I know looking at it now, I have a very strong front 8 and I've got to bench one every week, but of course this is planning towards my game week 26 bench boost, so that's why my front 8 is quite so strong. Transfers that I'm looking at, Bamford to Antonio is definitely something I'm considering. I think Antonio is a great option. They've got good upcoming fixtures now. Aston Villa away is not ideal, but Fulham then Sheffield United. The only thing that puts me off him slightly is they're unlikely to have a double game week in game week 26, which means do I want a single playing Antonio against Manchester City away in as part of my bench boost? But do I want to miss out on having him for these Fulham and Sheffield United games if I don't want him in game week 26? I know I could buy him and sell him, but then that's another transfer that I'm going to need. And in order to sort out my bench boost, I've worked out I don't really have many spare transfers. So whether I go for Antonio or not, it may depend on the likes of how Calvert-Lewin performs today, or other cheap strikers that I could go to. But he is definitely an option. That would leave me with 0.7 short. And then, of course, the other option that I want to go with is John Stones coming into my team. Now, it is possible that I don't go with this and I just do Kufal to John Stones, for example, this game week, and then leave Bamford in my team for Everton at home. It's okay fixture depending on how they do this week. I probably won't make any of my transfers before that match. Let's wait and see how Leeds perform, if they can bounce back. Don't really want to have to sell Bamford, but given their recent form, I probably will. But yeah, Bamford is definitely transfer out. Kane coming in when he's back fit, and then a slight change in defences just to get that double Manchester City in ahead of that Burnley fixture. I'll probably want to bench one in game week 23, but that's fine because Chelsea have a good fixture in game week 23 and so do West Ham. So I've got other options I can play. That's fine. I can bench, Stones. I'll play Cancelo, I'll play Kufal, and I'll play Chilwell. So that's absolutely fine. And same with game week 24 if I don't want to go double Manchester City defence. Although they'll probably have a double game week that week anyway. So I will probably have to play him in that game week anyway. So those are my initial thoughts for game week 22. It all depends on the return of Harry Kane. I probably may end up just doing one transfer this week. Again, just waiting for more news on his return, how long it's going to be. But yeah, that's my current thoughts. But of course, if I made no transfers, this is how I would line up. I'd probably bench the likes of Chilwell and I would probably play Mitchell in his place or potentially Kufal in there because of the difficulty of fixture. But that's how my team looks. 2 free transfers, so I will definitely be making one ahead of the game week 22 deadline. So that's all we've got for you in this first thoughts for game week 22 video. Just a little bit of my thoughts on my transfer plans, how I want my team set up going forward. I hope you found it useful again. Good luck in game week 21, which is about to kick off, that Everton versus Newcastle game. If you guys have got Calvert-Lewin or you've brought Dean in this week, good luck with that. If you have enjoyed and you found this useful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and there'll be another video and live streams before the game week 22 deadline with more precise thoughts about actually what I'm going to do with my team. But I hope you found it useful and I will see you all next time.